Please put your hands together for him. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jesus Christ.
Every day by day I just celebrate. Everything I do we just celebrate. I just want to celebrate with you. Cause I'm living large, I get them just from my ghetto. Never forget where I come from, not from ghetto.
Last night I got off the plane. You know, Southwest, they only give you peanuts. So, after I ate the peanuts, I woke up and my body was doing me somehow. So from the plane, I went straight to the ER. So I was actually in the emergency room from around at 3 p.m. to all the way to 1:30 a.m.
And after 1:30, what did you do?
Emeka, skip that part. So after 1:30, I came by the club to minister something. So just to get into why I'm here today, I would like to thank the UIU board for having me today. And as you all can see, there's a lot of hard work that went into this event today. So, to especially recognize, I do it with it. President. 4 more years. And also Levina, principal, and all the e-board members who have helped us as I was doing this whole TalkNaija stuff. Right. As Emeka mentioned, I started TalkNaija for us to have a conversation about mental health, right? To humanize the experience of those Nigerians with mental health conditions. And, you know, as Emeka mentioned, last year, you know, we're all on your quest, right? If you know me, I like quest and I go. Yeah? But I'll be talking about a different quest today, and that's the quest that we are on as TalkNaija, to humanize the experience of those Nigerians with mental health conditions, right? So you may ask me why mental health, and so I want to take you guys back to Nigeria and Imo State to be in particular. So I grew up in a local government, and I'm like, it's close to be safe, but not quite. And between Ishalangwa. And there was a lady next to us, and as a kid, I watched how they had her chained to a tree, right? They threw food at her as if she was a dog, and actually, the dog, Bingo, actually had better meals than her. All because that she had a mental health condition that was undiagnosed, it was untreated, but because of that, that's how she was treated. But to say that doesn't really talk about my personal journey, right? So when we came here in 1997, there were periods of time in my life at that point where I didn't feel like myself, right? And I wasn't able to figure it out. I couldn't fix it, but I just knew what I felt like wasn't who I was back in Nigeria. And so, but I couldn't do much about it because I'm gonna emphasize a few key points here. Because I'm a man, right? I'm not just a man, I'm a Nigerian man. And on top of that, I'm an Igbo man, right? So it's not normal for me to feel how I'm feeling because there was no vocabulary in the language that I had to describe how I was feeling. So over and over the years, I said it to myself, I'm a man, right? I don't have to have these discussions. I can just shake it off because I'm a man. In 2009, I was a graduate student at the University of Chicago. And I got on campus. Within a few weeks, I had a major breakdown, right? All the basic things that I could do, the papers, I had an assignment, very basic. It said, write a paragraph about what is poverty. For a whole week, nothing was coming to me. So I was told to go to the student counseling center. that I should get therapy. And I went there because I felt safe because no one knew me there, right? I can go in secret and no one will see me. So I went to therapy a few times, but each time I got to the session, I kept saying to myself, this cannot be me, and this is not me, because I'm a man, right? I'm a Nigerian man, and I'm an Igbo man. I can't feel like this. So eventually I stopped going. Not because I felt better. I stopped going because the fear of someone else finding out was greater than the pain I was feeling, right? So we fast forward to 2013, which was when I had my breaking point. It was challenging to get out of bed. I had a difficult time eating. So for like close to 3 weeks, I literally ate orange Gatorade and a protein shake. You know, like at that point I was working out because I was told to whine. I don't whine, I like muscle. So I was working out, right?
That was a motivation.
You know that. So that's what I was doing, but there was no joy in there. So when your release now becomes punishment, it's challenging to engage in it. So then, for the next 3 years, I just kept managing, right? I was afraid of being labeled because of something that I could not biologically control. But I go back to the point I made earlier. I wasn't able to do X, Y, and Z because I'm a man. I'm a Nigerian man, and I'm an Igbo man. There's something I'm expected to be a certain way, right? So let me ask you this, what does it mean to be a man, right? Flavor was saying, he said, I used to sing, just like Prince, I used to sing in the choir. And would you tell me the Governmental College? Okay, so Flavor said to be a man is not a day job, right? And it's not a day job. To be a man is who I am, right? And to be a man is what I've decided to be. And I want us to recognize that being a man, being human, doesn't mean that you always have to be strong, right? It doesn't mean that you have to deny yourself of what you're feeling. Sometimes, to be a man, to be human, means to be in touch with your emotions, right? To be vulnerable, to learn that when you're vulnerable, it doesn't mean that you're weak, right? But while I'm able to tell you that there's strength in being vulnerable, however, even I myself did not believe that, right? So it took someone close to me to say something to me, and that's how TalkNaija came about, right? I had someone that was very close to me, and when I informed a person of what I was struggling with, and I was told that, you know, that it seems like I enjoyed being depressed, right? It seemed that I'm not doing enough to not feel depressed. That if I actually tried, right, I can stop feeling that way. But it's not that easy. I'm 31, 20 years. I'm still young.
Yes.
That's why I don't know I'm married, right? I'm still young, but for 31 years and 20 plus years of having these struggles, and to be told that, it was troubling. And it troubled me more because this is someone who has been exposed to mental health because they work in the healthcare professional. So I thought to myself, if someone who's exposed can think this way about mental health, about those that have mental health conditions, I wonder what the average Nigerian would think. So, after this conversation, and knowing this, I decided to get additional help, right? I went to a psychiatrist for the first time in January of 2016. I mean, it was a huge step. So I walked in the office. The guy's talking to me, he's asking me questions. So when he asks me questions, I'll challenge it because, again, I'm struggling to accept what was going on. So he suggested, well, you've tried therapy, you've tried X, Y, and Z. Why not give antidepressants a chance? I said, Tufia. Because again, no now. I'm speaking. Yeah. Right. So I said, I can't do that because I'm a man, like I'm not supposed to feel this way. Right. So eventually, after much question, I agreed. Once the side effects of the medication kind of wear off, I watched my life change, right? I was able to do the things that I was able to do. I was able to then become that village person that I was in local government, right? That's what I wanted to get back to because that's me, right? So at that point, I knew that I wanted to use my story to help and encourage us to have discussions about mental health. And so for TalkNaija to be born out of pain, right? But I know that this is a type of pain that will promote us to lead a much better life, right? But as Nigerians, we're known to be loud, we're vibrant, but as it comes to the topic of mental health, you usually don't hear them, right? We're very silent about this topic. And I know why, right? Because we don't have the vocabulary for it, and we're always encouraged to pretend that everything is okay, right? You're supposed to smile while you're suffering. But like Emeka mentioned earlier, I want to remind you all that if you have struggled with depression, it doesn't mean that you're weak, right? If someone is struggling with schizophrenia, it doesn't mean you're not crazy, right? It doesn't mean that you haven't prayed enough. It doesn't mean that you're being punished by God, right? Struggling with your mental health just simply means that you're human. Full stop. Say wow. Thank you. Right? And that's all it means. Everyone in this room has mental health. Even Emeka, as short as he is, there's still mental health in him. Amen. Right? And I can take a guess that all of us at some point in our lives have had something that challenged our mental health. Right? But we have to change that. We have to change the conversation. It's time for us to realize that mental health is essential to our overall health. They go hand in hand. Right? It's time that we stop casting people out of our communities because of something that they cannot biologically control. Instead, it's time for us to encourage people to open up and to seek treatment if they need it. When I started TalkNaija, my dream was very simple. To provide a platform for people to share their stories so we can help each other heal and show that it's okay for us to reject the cloak of silence that we have around mental health, right? But as we all know, all great things are not done alone. And I want to make sure that my team are also recognized, right? And this dream would not be possible without the DM. And the DM now? DM. Yes. Slide in the DM. Professional slide too. Thank you. Because everything happens in the DM, and that's how I met my co-founders, Tutu, Dr. Uche, Joy, right? So typically when you have good women, and that's where it started, because if you have good women around you, you tend to perform well, right? Because especially Nigerian women are very powerful. Thank you. That's what happened to Arinze. he changed his name because of Nigerian women, Igbo babes, right? And when the DM slide happened, I knew that there's a quote that I like. It says that, you know, what starts in the DM, no man can put us on that, right? So that's when I knew we had something serious. So collectively, these ladies and myself, we have been able to create a space for people to have tough discussions around mental health. And we've been able to collaborate with Nigerian mental health professionals to provide resources to dispel myth and also have research-grounded effects. So I'm going to end with this. Everyone in here is like, so how can we all get involved? At the most basic level, we all have to learn to use what unites us, right? And as we're here today, culture is one of those things, right? And as the next generation to keep the Igbo culture going, the Nigerian culture going, right? We have been given the torch to keep our culture lit. So let's use that light to shine upon topics that we've kept in the dark for so long, with mental health, domestic violence, sexual assault being all of those. And there's an old saying that goes that he who eats calamity, you know, shares it with their family. So we have to learn how to share our pain to ease our pain. We have to realize that silence keeps us confined. It chains us, but it's only our voices that will set us free. On January 31st of 2017, I decided to live free. And I encourage each and every one of you to live free. And keep in mind that the more we talk, the more we can do for each other. So talk more. Mental health matters. Thank you.